Sometimes the simplest ideas, like, say, selling t-shirts, can teach us the most about how the world works. Today, we're going to do just that. We're taking a huge economic theory, perfect competition, and breaking it all down by telling the story of one guy trying to make it. So let's meet our main character, Ravi. His plan is super simple, something we can all get behind. He wants to start a business selling t-shirts. It's the classic side hustle, right? But what Ravi doesn't know yet is that he's about to get a masterclass in economics, the hard way. And here it is. Here's the catch. Ravi's idea isn't unique, not even close. In the market he's about to enter, there are literally 1,000 other people selling the exact same thing. And that one single fact, it changes absolutely everything. All right, so let's dive in. Let's take a closer look at Ravi's brand new t-shirt stall and this very strange economic world he's just walked into.
The official name for the world Ravi lives in is perfect competition. And the #1 rule is incredibly simple, but also incredibly powerful. No single person, no single business, not Ravi, not anyone, gets to decide the price. The market decides, and everyone else just has to take it or leave it.
So what really makes a market like this tick? Well, it boils down to a few key things. You've got tons of buyers and sellers, just like Ravi, and they're all selling an identical, or what economists call a homogeneous, product. A t-shirt is a t-shirt. On top of that, anyone can jump in and start selling or pack up and leave whenever they want. And because everyone knows the going rate, it means every single business, Ravi included, is what we call a price taker.
And that really is the key. If you remember one thing, remember this. It's the dead giveaway. If you see a situation where a business has zero, and I mean zero, power to influence the price of what it sells, you are, by definition, looking at a perfectly competitive market. It's the rule that runs the whole show.
Okay, so Ravi set up his stall, he's in the game, but now he's got to play by a very specific set of financial rules. And yep, this part is all about the money.
So this is the big question, isn't it? I mean, if Ravi has no say in the price, how in the world is he supposed to make a profit?
Well, the first piece of the puzzle is pretty straightforward: total revenue. It's just the price the market sets times the number of shirts he sells. So if the market price is, say, $10 a shirt and he sells 10 of them, his total revenue is $100. Simple as that. It's all the cash coming in the door. Then we have average revenue. Now this just means taking your total revenue and dividing it by how many shirts you sold. And of course, the math always brings you right back to where you started, the price. The average amount of money he gets for each shirt is, well, it's the price of the shirt. And all of this leads us to what our source material calls the gold result. This is probably the most important equation you need to know for this market. Check this out. Not only does average revenue equal the price, but so does something called marginal revenue. Think about it. Marginal revenue is the extra cash you get from selling just one more shirt. And since Ravi can't change the price, that extra cash is always just the price. So you get this beautiful, simple formula. AR equals MR equals P. It is the key to everything.
Okay, so Ravi's got a handle on his revenue now, but that's only half the story. How does he actually make the most money he possibly can? Well, that brings us to the single biggest rule in all of business.
And here it is, the golden rule of profit. To maximize your profit, you should keep producing right up to the point where the cost of making one more unit, your marginal cost, is exactly equal to the revenue you get from selling it, your marginal revenue. You produce where MC equals MR. That's the sweet spot.
But hang on, there's one tiny but super important catch. This rule only works if your marginal cost is going up. Why? Well, think about it. If the cost of making the next t-shirt was still falling, why on earth would you stop? You'd obviously keep making more. You only find that perfect profit maximizing point when the cost of producing that next item starts to climb.
So here's a little trick for you. If you ever see a question asking for the profit maximization condition, no matter what the context is, the answer is always MC equals MR. For Ravi, this isn't just theory. It's the practical rule he has to live by every single day.
Following the rules is one thing, but what does all this actually mean for Ravi's business? Is he making money or losing it? Let's break down the possible outcomes he's facing in the short run. It's make or break time.
So in the short term, it really boils down to 3 scenarios. And it all depends on how the market price stacks up against Ravi's average cost to make a shirt. If the price is higher than his cost, boom, he's making super normal profit. That's the good stuff. If the price is exactly equal to his cost, he's making normal profit. Now that doesn't mean zero profit. It means he's covering every single expense, including paying himself. But if that market price drops below his average cost, well, then he's officially losing money.
Now, if Ravi finds himself losing money, he's got a really tough choice to make. Does he stick it out, or does he shut the whole thing down? And the answer comes down to his average variable cost. Think of this as the direct costs for each shirt, like the fabric and the ink. As long as the price he's getting covers those costs, he should probably stay open. Why? Because every sale he makes helps pay for his fixed costs, like the rent for his stall. But the second that price dips below what it costs him just to make the shirt, it's time to shut down. Immediately.
And that brings us to a really key takeaway. The official shutdown point for any business is the absolute lowest point on its average variable cost curve. If the market price falls below that line, it just doesn't make financial sense to produce even one more item. That's the bottom line. All right, let's get to our final section, the long run game. Because in a market like this, nothing stays the same for long. Whether Ravi is making huge profits or big losses right now, spoiler alert, it's not gonna last.
So let's rewind to that happy scenario where Ravi's making supernormal profit. He's crushing it. What do you think happens next? Well, other people see him making all this money, and since it's super easy to enter this market, they think, hey, I can do that. So they set up their own t-shirt stalls. Suddenly the market is flooded with new sellers, total supply goes way up, and that pushes the price down for everyone. And this just keeps happening until all that extra profit gets completely erased.
And this is the inevitable end game. This is the long-run reality. The market will always settle at a point where the price equals marginal revenue, marginal costs, and average cost. All those juicy supernormal profits, gone. The only thing left for anyone, including Ravi, is just that normal profit. Just enough to cover your costs and keep the lights on. It's a tough, relentless, but unavoidable feature of perfect competition.
Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. If the final result is always that the extra profit gets competed away, leaving you with just enough to scrape by, why would anyone like Ravi even bother starting a business in this kind of market in the first place? It's a question that really gets to the heart of what drives entrepreneurs, the risks they take, and the powerful, unstoppable force of competition.